In this session, I'm going to show you a little bit about how my library works. And again, I showed you a little bit. These are where all of your Nearpods go once you publish them. So I'm going to walk you through what it looks like on someone else's screen. Now for our students, they can either go to Nearpod.com using Safari, or they can get the Nearpod app. To me, the Nearpod app is just something fast and easy they can work with, but either one, and they don't need an account at all. I know some of my students have it for other classes, but I'm just worried about them joining a session. So I'm going to come down here to a practice one that I've already made, and it's real easy. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click Live Session. So whenever I do that, it's going to make it live, and this is the pen that you will need to share with your students. I usually just write it on the board, and after every period I end the session, and then whenever you create the live session again for your next period, this pen is going to change. So for me, it's just easy and quick to write it on the board. So I'm going to join over here on the left side of the screen. And I'm going to hit join. And it's going to take me here. So and don't get too confused on me now. The one on the right is the teacher, and the one on the left is the student. The student can't change slides. That's not happening. They can't do it. But you as a teacher, you have that power. Up here, this is going to show you, and it looks a little bit different on the iPad, but not much different. The only different here, I'm going to be clicking on your iPad. You just use your finger and slide as you move the slides. Up here, it shows you the number of people entered. Up here, this is just showing you the pen all the way through in case a student comes in late. This right here gives you some options. The reports is really nice, and I may get to that in this session, I may not. But it just gives a breakdown of all the activities done, what they answered, pictures they sent you. And this is what you will need to click at the end of your period to end the session. If you forget to click the reports button and have it sent, for example, if I click the reports, it's going to ask, an assessment report of this presentation will be sent to your email account. You don't have to do that then. These reports are all saved, and you can go pull them later. That's entirely up to you. So I'm going to click it and watch how it changes on the left. So it's going to always ask for the student's name. I always just get their first name, last name. It's up to you. And they have to hit send. And then over here, now my audience members has changed to 1. And I see a list of all my students that are signed on to that Nearpod, and here I am. And over here it just says thank you, and they're waiting on you to change the slide. So I'm going to change the slide again. And again, just kind of a breakdown of what is Nearpod. It's a free website you can control. I'm going to just keep clicking through because I've got some activities here. So this is an open-ended question. Are you excited to learn about Nearpod? So notice over here, we got participation. So this tells you the number of students that have answered this question. And then over here, it's got the student and their answer. So over here on the student view, I'm going to enter in something. I'm going to hit send. They always have to send you their response. Sometimes they forget. So once they feel good about it, I'm going to send it. And again, it's saying thank you, and it's waiting on you. 100% participants have done, and here's their answer. So you can see their answer in real time as they send it to you. And again, you'll want to wait, probably, most likely, to the 100%. Now, if you ever hit this share button, let me show you what it does. If you're ever like, class, I want you to look at this response. I want you to notice something. It is not going to share the student's name. So don't worry that everyone in the class is going to know who did this. If you're like, students, this was a really good response. I want you to look at it. And once you're done, you just click unshare, and it goes away. So that's a very useful feature I use a lot in math. I'm like, ooh, look at how this person worked out this problem. I'm going to keep going. So this is one of those draw it features, and it works really nice for iPads, and I use it, my stylus pens for this. So it's kind of hard on a computer to do this. So once they feel good about it, and they can change the color, a lot of people like to highlight. You can change your pen. You can make your pen real narrow or real wide. Just depends. And of course, here's your eraser if you need to erase some stuff. And then once the students feel good about it, all they've got to do is send it. This is a neat thing to me. So it's sent it. Over here on the teacher view, this picture is going to show up. So as I'm walking around the room, I can see my students sending me their answers worked out, or whatever the situation may be in real time. And again, when you go back and pull a report on this, you can you can look at all the pictures that were sent. And this is one of the poll questions right here. Are you liking Nearpod so far? Yes. They send it to me. I'm sorry, that was one of the quizzes. So they sent it. I see the number correct, 100% correct, incorrect, and students that still haven't answered. And again, it just breaks down the answers as you go. And again, there is a paid version. I think the cost right now for gold membership is $100 if paid all at once, or $144 if billed monthly for 1 year. I haven't pulled these numbers in quite some time, so that might have changed. You just get, and for the most part what I've seen, you get more space in your library, and you get some of those additional neat features, but I've never needed it. You may feel the need for it. That's entirely up to you. Right here, this is really neat. This is one of those 360 views. This is entirely new to Nearpod. It came out again about 6 months ago. So what's really neat, if you want to do the Golden Gate Bridge in history, the students can drag and look around, and they can see bits and pieces of San Francisco. And I just think it's a really, really, really neat feature that I can see a lot of history teachers being able to use and show their students. And once you've looked or addressed what you want to as the teacher, you simply move on to the next slide. So this is one of those poll questions. Do you think it would use Nearpod? And I'm going to hit yes and hit send. And it's just going to break down the percentage of people that said yes, no, no answer, no, and then sure. And then you've reached the end, and you can make your end however you want to. Doesn't matter. So once you've reached the end, again, it stops over here. Let's say it's the end of the period, so I'm going to end my session. And I'll ask, would you like to end the session? Yes. And then over here on the students, it's going to say session expired. This session has expired. The pen is no longer valid. And you hit OK. And it kicks them out. All right? So over here for teacher, I want to go pull a report on what I just did. So maybe this is the end of the day, or this is your planning period. So I'm going to go to reports. Here it is. No, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. And what's real neat about the reports, they keep changing Nearpod on me. Quite often, in fact. So this is the Nearpod that I created, and this are the dates that I actually gave the Nearpod and times. This is the one we just did. So let me show you what a report looks like. So I think this is just really, really awesome. So here's the summary report. Student participation. This shows you the number of students that answered or did not answer your question in time. You can look at your quiz results. You can see every student. And these are all the quiz questions, and it breaks them down, and I really love this neat little pie chart that it's got going on. I can look at my poll question that I had, and I can see how students responded. I can look at my open-ended question, which still shows my response. And again, just having me, you're not getting a full picture of how this pie chart can develop. But it's really, really nice, especially when you get a large class. And then to draw it. I can see every student's picture, and if that's not big enough, I can blow it up. And you don't have to print these summary reports, but what is nice, they are there. And then the overall summary, again, shows you how this particular student did. So these reports are really, really nice and something that you'll always have and you'll have a record of, and they're never going to go away. So that's how it looks whenever you present a Nearpod to your students.